Welcome to part 2 of a 3-part series discovery video used to introduce you to Beyond Organic. Here we are going to learn about the products and what makes them unique and of superior quality. Beyond Organic has a saying, change your diet, change your life, change your world, and we're basically going to break that down so you understand what those things mean to Beyond Organic. Jordan is one person. He changed his diet. Therefore, he was enabled to actually have a life. And it has definitely changed the path he was going down. Now he has decided to do something with his life and to change the world. I'm going to start sharing a little bit about each of our products. We're going to start with the Amasi, but before I begin sharing about that, I want you to understand a little bit more about our dairy. While there are many factors that cause our dairy to stand out and go beyond organic, this one in particular is quite significant. All dairy, from a goat to human breast milk to the cattle, buffalo milk, have what's called casein in it. Now, over the years, the Western cattle has undergone a mutation in the casein, somewhere in the amino acid chains that are linked to it. With this mutation, something called a casomorphin, in other words, an opiate, has been formed and is getting into the milk. This causing many negative ill effects, including intolerability, diabetes, symptoms of autism. So what we've done is gone and plucked a few hairs from each of our cattle and genetically tested every one of them and have created a herd without the A1 beta casein. We have what is known as an A2 herd. The A2 beta casein, with the correct or undenatured amino acid chains, prevents the casomorphin from entering the milk. There, of course, are a bunch of technical terms describing this, but I just wanted to give you a brief overview, as this is something that is rather significant and could possibly make a real difference in your overall health and diet of dairy. These findings are from a study done out of Australia, and to learn more about it, you can check out a book called The Devil in the Milk. So let me introduce you to Amasi. This comes in 3 flavors, milk and honey, raspberry and plain. This is a drinkable yogurt. It is 100% grain-fed. It comes from ancient breeding, as I just described with the genetics. It is a true whole milk, low heat temperature processing, and old world culturing. Our next product is our green-fed raw cheese. I've already shared with you what makes our dairy different, and that of course also includes our cheeses. Being that our cheese is raw, this means that the natural nutrient components such as the enzymes, the CLA, the omega-3s, these stay intact. The cheese never goes above 105 degrees, which is the normal body temperature of the cow. It is farmstead, meaning it goes straight from the cow, straight to where it is then produced to be a cheese, and it is not mixed with other dairy cattle from other, even organic farms. We only use our cattle and our dairy to produce our cheese. Beyond Organic has springs that are located at the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Georgia. There we produce what is called the Reign Supreme Mountain Spring Water. This water is used for some of the other items you will see as well. The springs are surrounded by nothing but forest, meaning nothing can be going in and contaminating these waters. There's no runoff or anything. The springs have what is called a total dissolved solids, or TDS, of 4. Now, I know most of us don't know what that means, but I just will share that the average range of 7 leading brands, the average range of the TDS comes back as 18 to 247, and that's after the purification process. Our springs come back with a 4 before the purification process. Total dissolved solids basically means your minerals as well as other contaminants that can be in your water. The lowest TDS, or total dissolved solids, that means the more H2O and the least of anything else. So highest H2O equals most oxygen transporting through the body. Blood is 92% water, which oxygen is transported through. H2O also transports nutrients to the cell and removes waste from the cells. This is why this is so important for us to consume. So why pure water? You know, I know that there's a lot of talk about alkaline water, which is basically mineral water. I'm going to just explain a little bit Jordan's feeling regarding water, and basically the purer the better. There are 2 kinds of minerals, and one being organic and one being inorganic. Organic comes from your food sources, inorganic coming from rock. When it's in an inorganic state, our body has a hard time digesting this. And how it goes from inorganic to an organic state is basically through the growth of a plant. So for instance, a whole grain contains manganese. This converts from the inorganic source to the organic mineral when it's inside the whole grains. So when it's in this organic state, it is then able to enter the stomach and goes through some chemical reactions and is able to be absorbed. In an inorganic state, it's usually just lost through the body. So without a healthy mineral balance, we hear that we need these minerals, but not having them just by the smallest little bit can cause spasms and twitches and cramps, and I know we've all felt these things. So the body prefers a rich source of minerals from foods instead of hard to absorb inorganic minerals. Now, as we all know, eating is such the pleasurable pastime for us, and we put a lot of time and energy into eating and going out to eat and preparing meals because we want to enjoy the foods we're eating. So we've produced a chocolate. Our dark chocolate is from Italy. The cacao has many health benefits, and what a better way to be healthy. So I call it the chocolate with benefits. There are many nutrients in this bar. The organic dark chocolate contains the flax seeds, which gives you your omega-3s, 1,000 milligrams of omega-3s. You have your probiotics, you have fiber, you have antioxidants, and it's GMO-free, of course. It is also gluten-free, just so you know. All our products are gluten-free. So now let me share with you about our green-fed beef. So what's the big deal? Why 100% green-fed, and why not grains? What is the reasons? First, let me explain that a cow can be green-fed for only 30% of their life and still be claiming that they are green-fed or grass-fed. So, in other words, a cow can receive up to 70% of their diet from non-grasses, grains. Yet another factor to consider when that happens is that the non-organic beef herds are getting GMO grains at that. This is why we place such an emphasis on cows being green-fed and green-finished. We do not top off. Often a farm will go the last 6 to 8 weeks, and including organic farms, go the last 6 to 8 weeks and will top off with grains as this increases their weight and therefore produces more meat off their cattle. So why not grain? The reason why the grains are so bad for the cattle is that it creates an improper balance of the CLA, which is conjugated linoleic acid, and the omega-6/3 ratios. Grain-fed cattle negates the correct levels, even if the cattle is fed this only for the last 2 months. So, in other words, the CLA is virtually undetectable, and the omega-6 and the omega-3s, which are so essential for our body, are totally out of whack with the ratios. So the CLA is well known for controlling inflammation as well as weight loss and anti-cancer properties. The omega-6/3 ratios are crucial as well. A high ratio of omega-6 per omega-3, which is common in American diets, promotes cardiovascular disease, cancer, and autoimmune diseases. Low rates, such as 4 to 1, are associated with prevention of cardiovascular disease, colorectal cancer, breast cancer, rheumatoid arthritis. You can look this up online for this information as well. But this is why this is so important. As soon as you put those grains, it messes up these ratios. If you keep the grains out, they're the correct ratios where they should be. No grain means no GMOs as well. Basically, a GMO is combining genes from different organisms not meant to combine and do not naturally occur. So according to the studies done by an independent laboratory on our own farms on the dairy products as well as the beef, our ratios for the amasi, the cheese, and the beef tested to be 1.5 to 1 and 1.2 to 1 for the omega-6 and the omega-3s. This is excellent. And our beef came back as 2.3 to 1 omega-6, omega-3 fatty acids. To give you an idea, the average American common diets is a 15 to 1 omega-6, omega-3, and this is where you're getting into the the ratios not being correct and causing the cardiovascular disease and cancers. You can look this up, as I stated, and research this further. I spoke earlier about our spring waters found in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Georgia. These rain infusions are also produced with that same spring water. These infusions hold a lot of benefits. The Rain Awaken, Rain Fruit, and Rain Veggie all go through what's called an infusion process, and I'm just going to touch on that real brief just so you have an idea of what that is and understand what these drinks can do. The infusion is basically where you take, for example, we'll talk about the beet, a vegetable, at a 500-to-1 ratio, meaning 500 pounds of beet juice is condensed to yield 1 pound of beet juice. This super concentrated liquid is then filtered, leaving the antioxidants. This makes the antioxidants soluble, providing the benefit of the vegetable or the fruit itself without the calories. So what is an antioxidant? Basically, this is what protects your cells from the free radicals, and free radicals are produced every day in our body, all the time. There's always free radicals floating around in your body, and they're produced when we break down foods, and this is another reason to consider, thinking about what you're eating. They're also produced during environmental exposures, tobacco, etc. So free radicals damage cells, causing aging, heart disease, cancer, and these antioxidants basically come and gobble up these free radicals. So there are many benefits to these. Green coffee is a coffee bean. It's actually a seed from a type of cherry, and the antioxidants is a caffeic acid, and which supports blood sugar and cardiovascular health. Cacao, releases serotonin and endomorphins, which keeps us happy, as we know. That's why everyone loves chocolate so much. African mango, antimicrobial antioxidants, and helps with GI activity, and so on and so forth. So all these antioxidants have great benefit. The last product I'm going to share about is Suera Vive, and what exactly that is. The birth of this product, I believe, came out of necessity for Jordan. Watching his son play sports and him being the coach, he was watching what the kids were drinking, and obviously it was full of different sugars and artificial flavors, colors, some sodium, potassium, and I know you all know what I'm talking about. Suera Vive, this is basically a living cultured beverage. This is made of whey, which is a protein, and this comes from your dairy. This is basically the dairy, the whey, curds and whey. You separate the curds, which makes the cheese, and then you're left with the whey, which is the protein. This is often used in sports smoothies and shakes now for the high protein content. The benefits of the whey, not only are the protein, but it's loaded with vitamin B and sodium and potassium, which, remember, we talked about organic sources of minerals again. This is where you can receive some of these organic sources of minerals. This is sweetened with honey, which quickly digests for carbohydrate energy, and it also added our organic juices and essential oils. Lastly, this is also full of probiotics. This is a cultured whey, so this is essential for digestion and maintaining balance of the flora in the digestive tract. And as most of us know, we have more of good bacteria or more bad bacteria than good bacteria, and this is just developed due to a poor diet, high sugars, processed foods, diets, and low count of the essential flora in the digestive tract is where we start running into our problems with our digestion and improper digestion, lacking minerals and vitamins, and we kind of spiral out of control. So these are the last of the products that we're going to talk about. The next step would be, what is Beyond Organic about? So here you've seen our products, and if you would, please continue on and listen to what Beyond Organic can mean and what the main mission of Beyond Organic is, the big picture of Beyond Organic.